What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to my video. So today I'm going to be talking to you guys about an update for the stocks I've talked about on this channel. So I've talked about Clover Health, Sndl, Cciv, Ipoe, and United Wholesale Mortgage Corporation. So I've talked about these stocks, and I've been getting a lot of DMs and people messaging me and asking me or commenting for updates or what they should do, etc. With their stocks and options that they've purchased. So first stock I'm going to be talking to you guys about is Clover Health. But before we do get started, please leave a like and subscribe. And also, if you're not interested in some of the stocks and you're only here for a certain stock, you could use the timestamps and just skip ahead and go to the stocks that you're interested in or stocks that you're invested in. So I'm going to be giving updates in regards to the stock, so what has happened, if there's any news, or if there's a possibility of the stock going up. So I know a lot of you guys have been seeing what's going on in the market. I don't want to make a video about that because unless you've been living in Iraq, everyone knows what's going on with Wallstreetbets versus the hedge funds and them going against all these companies that are other companies that they're shorting, like GME, Sndl, and a bunch of other stocks like Uwmc, etc. So what I'm going to be talking first about is Clover Health. So Clover Health has been getting attacked by the hedge funds recently. So before I get into that, as you can see here on Seeking Alpha, the short percentage is only 4.02%, and this was prior. And now, as you can see right here on Fintel, it has been recently updated on the 28th, and this was earlier on in the day. It was about 32%. I'm seeing people talking about it's being shorted by up to almost 67% since Chamath went on CNBC. So if you guys don't know, Chamath actually went on CNBC 2 days ago. He went on CNBC and he basically bashed his coworkers, the people that work in hedge funds and all that stuff, and he's bashed them, saying how they're taking advantage of the retail investors and how the things that they're doing shouldn't be legal, etc. That retail investors should be able to do what these hedge funds have been doing for all these years. So these hedge funds are talking behind closed doors, talking in their dinner meetings, behind closed doors about what stocks to short. They go ahead and release bad news to CNBC, to the media, etc. to start scaring retail investors out of their positions. The stocks go down, and then they go ahead and make money as the stock going down because they are shorting these stocks. So they're basically giving false news, and basically he's went ahead and supported these retail investors and the smaller people, and he went ahead and bashed a bunch of the hedge funds. He's attacked people that try to defend the hedge funds, and basically the hedge funds are basically going to start teaming up and bringing down some of his stocks. So they've been taking a hit on Clover Health. As you can see, the short volume has gone up quite a bit since his interview, and this is kind of obvious, but the people on Twitter were talking, and I've seen even Reddit posts them talking about bringing the stock back up, and people started buying in. And then this is at this point where the hedge fund went ahead and doubled down from 32% to the 60% short, and it's gone down. Aftermarket has gone up a little bit. I have a feeling that people will start talking more about Clover Health, and it could get pumped up. So basically, if it does get pumped up, what I would do is if it hits that $17-20 mark, I would probably sell and just secure your profits just to be on the safe side. Or if it goes higher, I would sell. If you do have any option calls, I hope you don't have any option calls that do mature in the short term, and you've purchased later calls like I did in May. If you've purchased May calls, then you should be fine. But I would definitely look into selling out in case the stock does go up like crazy after everyone starts pumping it. But in regards to the Clover Health news, they didn't drop any news in regards to their partnerships or anything like that. And the reason for that being is because a lot of money has been coming out of these stocks and going into stocks like Uwmc, GameStop, etc. And they didn't want to drop the news while everyone's focused on the hedge funds and focused on these Reddit posts. So I think they're delaying it until everything kind of calms down and goes back to normal. But on the news in regards to Biden, he did have that meeting and he did sign some executive orders. So basically what he has done is he's basically returning everything back before Trump came into office. So he's looking to make it easier for the people to get access to Medicaid and make it easier for people to qualify and make it more cheap and affordable. So he's looking to get as many people through this federal health insurance, and it says here the federal health insurance marketplace to open for a special enrollment period from February 15th to May 15th. So they're making it much longer than normal, which will allow Americans more time to sign up for health insurance coverage. The order also directs federal agencies to review rules and policies to ensure they do not hinder American access to health care, such as those that may reduce affordability of health coverage or undermine the Affordable Care Act's protection for peoples with pre-existing condition. So basically it looks like more people are going to be able to register. He hasn't mentioned anything about the age 65 to 60. I believe he probably will later on, but that wasn't really his main focus as of right now. So it looks like this is a really good sign for Clover Health, because now we've just expanded our customer base and who we could sign up. So this means that we're going to be able to get more customers, since more people are going to be able to afford them and more people will be able to register and they have more time to register. So this is definitely a good sign. But this is pretty much it for Clover Health. I would just keep an eye out on it, look into it. Hopefully people could pump this up and we could maybe sell out at a high position and then wait for the dips and then buy back later. Now in regards to Sndl, Sndl got pumped up. I have made the call out when it was about in the 60s, I believe it was, in the low 60s. And I did mention to put a stop loss at about the 40 cents, and it didn't hit that 40 cents mark. If you bought more here on the dips, that's good. If not, you would have made a shit ton of money right here, and as well right here yesterday upon market open. So I actually sold mine right about 127-ish. Not really at the very top, but I did make a lot of money on my option calls, and this was actually saved my portfolio from the losses I took on Uwmc when I kind of panic sold. Now Sndl, in terms of the bad news and why it dropped, basically how I mentioned is Zenibus was under control of Sndl. Sndl had about 54 or 58 million, I don't remember the exact number. They had that debt and they were forcing Zenibus to pay, and they were trying to basically do a takeover, but Zenibus was able to secure another creditor to pay out Sndl. So at that point the stock did crash, but just remember that Sndl still gets a royalty from Zenibus, so they will still be getting that royalty, so it's still a good sign if Zenibus does make it. If not, Sndl will probably try to go ahead and do another takeover later on down the road if they do end up struggling to pay this debt off. Now in regards to Sndl, right here Robinhood was restricting and other platforms were restricting people from buying Sndl, and then they were only able to sell, and that caused the selling pressure and it has dipped down. But they did announce that Robinhood won't be doing this restrictions, or they're apparently going to limit that restriction going into tomorrow. So we should start seeing this stock go up. As you could see, GME and Uwmc started going up. So I'm just going to pull this up right here. As you can see, after hours, GME did start skyrocketing, back up 61%. So this is probably a good sign that the stock might get pumped up. So if you still own the stock, you might have another chance to get out at the dollar mark or $1+ mark, which was our original target. And Sndl short volume is about 29% right now. So that's pretty much it for Sndl. Now heading on to Cciv. Cciv has dropped down in price recently after hours, but it's still at the $22 mark. And basically People are getting scared that CCIV and Lucid Motors won't merge and there might be a delay. Now, if there is a delay on the merger, we could definitely start seeing the stock go down. Probably going to stay in the high 18s, 19s. If it goes down to 18, it might be another opportunity to buy. Please note that most of these mergers, when there's rumors, it takes about 20 to 30 days for the actual merger to happen from the date of the rumor. So with that being said, you should see this merger probably happen in early February. That's when it should happen, maybe latest second week of February. If that doesn't happen, I could start seeing some people panic selling. But if they do announce the merger, you'll definitely see the stock skyrocket. So still kind of a coin flip, but you have more chances of getting it right than wrong. The only concern right now is with the delays. And in regards to CCIV, their short volume is only 16%, so it's nothing big like people would pump up. Now for the next stock, Ipoe, this stock has taken a big jump up after hours. So it has been getting hit, and then it hit about $18, and then it has actually started pumping up. And the reason why this has started pumping up is because of Robinhood and everything that's been happening. And Chamath went ahead and tweeted this out, and this is what kind of took the stock to the next level. Chamath went ahead and tweeted, "I remember when I met with the Robinhood app founders when they were raising their seed for the Series A and Series B. He passed, and the reason why is because he feels like they didn't have integrity. He feels like they didn't have integrity, and they were basically a-holes and will F people over." So he's saying delete Robinhood, and he's like, here are the apps you can replace Robinhood: SoFi, Cash App, and Public. And he put a disclaimer: "I am taking this company public via Ipoe, so I am biased, but I think it kicks ass." So with that being said, people saw his tweet and people started buying Ipoe, and the stock definitely went ahead and raised up in price because a lot of people started buying. The short volume is only about 14% for this stock. I could definitely still see this stock going up, and if you have it, I would maybe look into it tomorrow, see what happens, and perhaps go ahead and sell out if you see a high volume, and maybe buy back on the dips when everything calms down, because there will be a lot of dips after all this stuff happens. And then in regards to the next stock, United Wholesale Mortgage, so this stock has definitely taken a huge hit, $9 mark. If you don't own this stock, I would definitely get in at the $9 marks if you can. It's definitely a good and safe place to put your money into. As you can see, the stock has taken a big hit. For the people that do have option calls that are expiring in February, I would probably transfer it or roll it over to the later dates. You might take a little bit of loss, but then if the stock does go crazy for earnings. So the shorts on this is about 25%, and their earnings report is scheduled, hold on. The earnings report is scheduled right here on February 3rd. So on February 3rd, they're going to be announcing earnings, and they're expected to be 32 cents a share. So according to the CEO, he went ahead and did an interview. He was saying how him and his company and the insiders own about 96% of the shares. So that just shows you how confident he is with the company and how much he believes in the company. And he said he's going to be riding that through. So that means that the flow of the stocks are going to be much lower, since they do own most of the shares. Now he did mention that they're going to be announcing earnings, and he believes that the earnings are going to be record breaking. So for the people that don't know, Rocket Mortgage, when they announced their earnings, that stock really took off, and that's one of their competitors. That stock really took off after earnings. So with this play, I'm kind of looking at it in the short term as an earnings play, hoping that after earnings this could definitely take off. If it doesn't take off, then I would have to turn my short play into a long-term play and just hold it on in the long term. But I'm pretty much banking on the earnings and looking to take on the stock for the earning play. As he did mention, it is record-breaking earnings for the company. And that's pretty much it for United Wholesales. Nothing much has really happened since then. He's been on CNBC a few times, but it looks like the stock has been taking a hit since everyone's taking their money out and putting it on these other stocks to pump up. But that's pretty much it for my update. Just a disclaimer, no one knows what's going to be happening with these stocks. No one knows if there's going to be more manipulations from the big guys or from the institutions. So please invest at your own risk. Only invest what you're willing to lose. Unless you're looking at things of long term, pretty much all these stocks that I've mentioned are pretty much good for the long term. Maybe not Sndl for the midterm, because we don't know how much it's going to get pumped up and how big the hit's going to be. But if you bought in at the 60 cents, then you don't have much to worry about, or lower, you don't have much to worry about. But if you're buying at like the high 90s or 80s, then I'd probably just sell out, secure profit, and maybe buy back on the dips. But yeah, and then CCIV if the merger doesn't happen. But other than that, Clover Health, United Wholesale Mortgage, Ipoe, they're all really good stocks to hold long term. So even if you were to hold for upcoming years, you're going to do well at the end of the day. But please don't forget to like and subscribe. If you do have any questions, you can definitely hit me up on Twitter, mmfinance 24/7, and you could just DM me or just leave me a comment, and I'll get back to you guys. Peace.